Hello and welcome to the Bay Area Case Studies Virtual College Fair Explore session. Thank you so much for joining us today. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You may use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. You don't have to wait until a certain institution is presenting. If you have questions for any of our panelists, go ahead and submit those questions anytime during today's event. Your camera and your microphone are off in this session, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is one of many different sessions happening. You've got 2 more after this, so make sure that you go check out those as well. And this presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at strivescan.com/BACS. I'll put that link in the chat for you all as well. Okay, everyone, we have a variety of schools that will be presenting to you today, and they vary in size, location, and other characteristics. We really hope that this session broadens your horizons during your college search, and we are going to now unveil our sessions. Okay, here are the wonderful institutions that we have for you today. We are going to kick it off with DePaul University, then hear from Chapman University, Providence College, University of Vermont, Oberlin College, and University of Richmond is going to close us out tonight. But now for our main event, let's kick it over to our institutions, starting with DePaul University.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. My name is Annie Mills. I'm DePaul University's regional representative based in San Diego. I work specifically with students in California, Nevada, Alaska, and Hawaii. DePaul is a private Catholic institution in the heart of Chicago, Illinois, with an undergraduate population of about 14,500 students. We have big school resources. We're located in the 3rd largest city in the US, but your academic experience at DePaul will be very personal by design. Our average class size is 22. Our student body is very diverse and really reflects the diversity of our global community and certainly of the city of Chicago as well. 40% of our students come to DePaul from out of state. California actually leads the way, which is very exciting to me as our recruiter beast here. 44% of our freshmen are students of color at DePaul, and 35% of our students are first in their family to earn a college degree. As I mentioned, we are a Catholic school, but the DePaul experience really is as Catholic as you make it. We have students from over 40 different faith and non-faith backgrounds on campus. You may have guessed we're named for St. Vincent de Paul. He dedicated his life to ending cycles of poverty and social injustice. And we really aim to keep that Vincentian tradition alive. As a student, we will prepare you to think and act with others in mind. We want you to use your higher education as a means to engage cultural, social, religious, and ethical values in service to others. Now, our students split their time between 2 campuses in the city of Chicago. Our Lincoln Park campus, which we call our urban neighborhood campus, has a quad, 11 residence halls, a student center, a big library. It has that more traditional college feel, the things you expect to see on your campus visit checklist. It's where you would be most likely to see a student going to class in a DePaul hoodie. A 15-minute ride away on public transportation, which you can see at the bottom of the picture here, is our campus in Chicago's financial district called the Loop campus. There, students take elevators to class instead of walking across the quad, and you'd be much more likely to see a student going to class in a blazer, maybe coming straight from an internship or heading to a job shadowing or informational interview in the city after they're done with their studies. Almost all of our students are going to take classes on both campuses. Academically at DePaul, our students pick from about 300 different options. Some of our most popular programs are housed in our College of Business and our conservatory style programs in music and theater. Our science and health focused reviews are very strong, and we have some accelerated options for students where you can actually skip your medical related admission test and leave DePaul after 3 or 4 years with a direct entry lined up. The College of Computing and Digital Media is our fastest growing school, and it's home to our most popular major overall and our most popular major for California students, which is film and television. Animation and game design also make that school very popular these days. We have some honors options at DePaul, university-wide, and then specific in business and health sciences. And we have a 3+3 option. If students are interested in going to law school, you can graduate with a bachelor's and JD in 6 instead of 7. If you're undecided, you like a lot of things, no worries. Double major and minor friendly across schools and colleges, and we embrace change. So as long as you're in good academic standing, you can change your major at any time. Our students are very involved on campus. We have about 400 different clubs and organizations. Students cheer on our NCAA Division I Blue Demons. They're involved in political, religious, and academically focused clubs. They participate in club or intramural sports, take advantage of our outdoor adventure programs like Free Fall DePaul, which is our skydiving club, or they get involved with Greek life. About 10% of our students are involved in fraternities and sororities. In one afternoon as a DePaul student, you can meet with other students to plan Fest, which is our on-campus music festival. You can watch your friends on stage in a music or theater or improv production on campus, and then you can go sample the local fare with the pizza club. To help you get used to the city, all of our freshmen take a seminar in their very first quarter called the Chicago Quarter Class. You'll go on site visits, you explore the city using one of over 100 different topics as a lens. So you might take a class all about the Cubs, or crime and politics in Chicago, or improv in the city, or maybe art and public sculpture. In that last class, you'd certainly go on group excursions to the Art Institute and the Bean, the most Instagrammed object in the city, also very much public art. But you'd also get out of the Loop and Lincoln Park and get to know how the history of different communities impacts the experience of its residents and then the art that they create. The class is a great way to get to explore new neighborhoods and learn how to use the L and the buses, very practical things if you're going to school in the city, but then also get to know resources on campus like the Writing Center, our Career Center, and then our Center for Students with Disabilities. Speaking of the Career Center, we're very proud of our outcomes at DePaul. 6 months after graduation, 91% of our students are employed or continuing their education. That's no accident. The Career Center is very active. They work with students throughout their 4 years, and then you have unlimited access to them after you graduate. And then all of our students are also required to do experiential learning in their junior year that typically looks like an internship, a study abroad program, or an intensive community-based service learning project. So there's a lot of thinking about what's next while you're a student at DePaul. If all of that sounds interesting to you, of course, we'd love to eventually have you apply on the Common Application. Just like Jefferson earlier this evening, we use a holistic application review process, meaning we'll look at your essay, resume, activity summary, letters of recommendation, all in addition to your transcript and potentially a test score. We have been test optional at DePaul for 10 years, not only for our admission decision, but also for academic merit-based scholarships and our honors programs. So if you're thinking about DePaul, you want to take advantage of a little bit of everything, that's great. Spend some time thinking about how you would like to highlight your strengths in the application process. If a test score doesn't reflect who you are as a student, or you don't have a test score, that's no problem. There are a ton of ways to connect with DePaul these days, and there's so much more to tell you than what we covered here. I barely mentioned housing, study abroad, volunteer work. Reach out, put questions in the Q&A. I'll drop my contact information as well. And thanks for being here. That is all for DePaul.
DePaul University, you were exactly on time. Bravo. What a wonderful way to kick it off tonight. Okay, Chapman University, we're going to hear from you now. Chapman, we can't hear you and your screen share actually ended. If you want to try again.
Can you see that?
Perfect, yes.
Perfect, awesome. Technical difficulties even in this space still. Hello everyone, my name is Amy Hammer and I'm one of the Assistant Directors of Admission at Chapman University. And I'm excited to share with you a little bit about my alma mater, both as an undergraduate student and also a graduate student as well. So for those of you that are a little less familiar with Chapman, we are a mid-sized liberal arts and pre-professional university located in the heart of Orange County. And I'll go a little bit more in depth on the location in just a little bit, but here are some quick numbers for you just to get a general sense in terms of who we are as a campus. We have about 7,500 undergraduate students, which I personally found to be that sweet spot in terms of feeling like a small school at times, but having access to big school resources. We have just over 2,300 graduate and law students. So there are a lot of opportunities for students to grow academically after their undergraduate experience. We have a wide range of 4+1 or 3+2 programs to allow students to expedite their master's and bachelor's degree process. Like I said, there's elements of being a small school with our average class size being 24 and our student to faculty ratio being 13:1. We have a huge emphasis placed on the student experience. It is part of our mission statement to provide a personalized education of distinction that leads to inquiring, ethical, and productive lives as global citizens. That is why we pride ourselves in having small class sizes. That's also why we heavily encourage our students to study abroad. And about 53% of our students in a non-pandemic year, typically we'll take us up on that opportunity. Fun fact, Chapman created a semester at sea program where students essentially are on a cruise ship for about 4 months. They sail the world and they get to visit on average between 10 to 12 different countries. Back in the 1970s, someone at Chapman thought it would be a good idea to buy a cruise ship, put our staff and faculty and students on board, let it set sail. It has since grown, so you might hear it being referenced to other schools. But we're really excited about the fact that we were able to establish that for our students at the very beginning. There's a wide distribution of different programs available for students that fall under 10 different schools and colleges. That leads to 52 majors and 72 minor options. Our general education program is structured in a way to be flexible to allow students to mix and match those programs. And in fact, part of our general education program has a subset of requirements embedded that essentially a minor is built into those graduation requirements. So students are not only encouraged, but they're more or less expected to have more than just one area of study. We bring in students from across the United States and from across the world. So we really want to make sure our students have that diverse and global perspective, even if they're not studying abroad. In terms of our physical location, we're in the intersection of Los Angeles and San Diego, the beaches and the mountains. We're in one of the rare locations in the world where students can go surfing in the morning and snowboarding at night, or vice versa if they want to. We're a stone's throw away from Disneyland. It's a whole 12-minute drive away to campus. If you're one of the lucky individuals that lives on campus and you're facing the Disneyland theme park, you can actually see a free fireworks show every night. And our actual location in the city of Orange is a very residential and quaint community. So even though we have access to larger metropolitan areas, many students are also able to still have that hometown feel with the Orange Circle surrounded by boutiques, restaurants, small coffee shops, things of the like. In fact, we just have a Phil's open up this past year. So for any Bay Area folks that are big Phil's fans, it's still very accessible for our students. But our location lends itself a lot of professional opportunities as well. This is just a snapshot of some of the companies our students either go to work for immediately after graduation or intern for while they're on campus. In addition to our career and professional development on campus available to all students and all alumni, it's also something that we have tailored into every school and college. So at a minimum, there's a career advisor for every program on our campus, because we know career advising is going to look different depending on the industry a student is looking to go into. So we heavily encourage students to take advantage of our location for internships and professional growth. And we really emphasize the idea of think Chapman first and leaning into our network of alumni worldwide to really be able to develop those skill sets before graduation. In terms of our physical location, this is a little snapshot of what campus looks like. Again, residentially based. If you look far off into the distance, you can see a little red thing pointing out from the trees. That's Angel Stadium. So it really does show how close we are to a baseball park, Honda Center where the Anaheim Ducks play. It's a really prime area. At the very bottom of the screen, you'll see a fountain that has 4 pillars. And that 4 pillars symbolizes the Chapman experience of having a well-rounded education. Those pillars represent intellectual, physical, spiritual, and social. And again, it's the idea of having not just 4 years of school, but 4 years of your life, and encouraging our students to start building community within that first semester. The picture itself here represents our student involvement fair. So we take advantage of the nice weather in Southern California and encourage our students to be able to get involved outside of the class. And the rest of our campus has also been developing. I can safely say, since I started at Chapman as an undergraduate student, the campus that I work for today is not the same campus that I started with in the best way possible. One of our newest buildings on campus is the Keck Center. It's 140,000 square feet dedicated to our sciences and engineering. One of the wings is going to set to open fall of 2021. So it's still been under construction, but it'll be open for our students coming in for this year. We also opened new housing for our upperclassmen students and are set to also develop a new dance studio. So constantly evolving and constantly developing new resources to give our students the best facilities available for their different areas. Outside of the academic sense, like I mentioned, there's a wide range of ways to get involved. We have over 180 clubs and organizations. About 30% of our students are involved in Greek life. We are a Division III institution and the only 4-year university in Orange County to have a football team. And again, we're also the 12-year reigning champs for our dance program. For those interested in applying, we have 2 deadline dates, November 1st and January 15th. We also have information on our website for specific programs that we encourage particular deadlines for. And with admission to the university, we also simultaneously review for financial aid, merit scholarships, and things of the like. So even though we're a private institution, still accessible. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our staff. I know that's an overwhelming slide, but you're also welcome to follow us on Instagram at Chapman Admission. So thank you for joining.
Fantastic job, Chapman University. It is difficult to get all of this information in 6 minutes, and you all are doing a great job. We're going to hear now from another wonderful school, Providence College.
Thank you very much. And again, good evening. My name is Martin Vaughn. I'm the Associate Dean of Admission at Providence College, located, as you can see there, in Providence, Rhode Island. I also have the pleasure of serving as the coordinator of West Coast recruitment based here down south in San Diego. So Providence is a Dominican Catholic liberal arts and sciences school that also has a business school. Our undergraduate population of just over 4,100, I feel, naturally creates some interaction with faculty and staff. I feel like that number is large enough to provide a host of options for students while also being intimate enough that you don't really ever feel overwhelmed. Again, as a Dominican school, we are the only school in the country run by Dominican friars. We have about 50 friars who live and work on campus in a variety of different offices. Campus ministry, as you can imagine, certainly on the faculty and even in admissions. They're definitely an integral part of the PC experience. We love being located in the biggest city in the smallest state in the country. We're really in the heart of New England, just an hour south of Boston, about 3 hours from New York City. Providence is the state capital of Rhode Island. We sit just 2 miles from downtown Providence, so it allows our students easy access to the city, provides great opportunities for academic, co-curricular, social engagement. Definitely a student-friendly city, home to 5 colleges. Certainly a place where if you're a foodie like me, definitely if you're a sports fan or if you're in the arts, Providence is definitely a great fit. I often get questions from California students regarding how far we are from the beach and can you surf? Yes, you can surf, and we're, in my opinion, 45 minutes from some of the best beaches in New England in Newport, Rhode Island. And our faculty members are at PC because they love to teach. They're certainly doing research in their fields, but their priority is the classroom experience. And what can you study? All of these different things. So across our 3 schools, we have 53 majors and 40 minors for which students can choose. Biology is our largest single major, but we have over 40% of our students enrolled in the business school. So you can see the 4 majors listed there. That does not include our 5-year MBA program. We're the first school in the country to offer a bachelor's degree in public and community service studies. I really feel like our most unique major is probably our health policy and management program, but certainly I think about things like creative writing, biochemistry, as well as musical theater. And we're very excited to announce a new major in music technology and production. I think as my colleague from Chapman had mentioned before, in a non-COVID environment, we have about 60% of our students who participate in off-campus study. Certainly that could be shorter term programs over the Maymester, which are 2 to 4 week programs, traditional semester or year-long study abroad options. So 300 different opportunities in 40 different countries for you to choose from. There are over 120 student-led organizations. So whatever you're involved with at your high school, in all likelihood, we have it at Providence. So everything from an esports team to the Gaelic dance team to an outdoor adventure club, there's definitely something for everyone. Intramural sports are a huge part of life at Providence. We were voted the #2 school in the country last year for intramural sports participation with over 53% participating. And while the name of the town is technically Providence, I often refer to it as Friartown. We are Division I for athletics. We're members of the Big East Conference. And our mascot, our primary mascot, Dom, is annually voted one of the scariest mascots in all of college sports. And if you don't believe me, Google that. So I want to talk briefly about the admissions review process. As always, for Providence, the biggest driving factor behind all of our decisions will be the strength of your curriculum. How much have you challenged yourself in comparison to what's available to you? You've heard during the case studies, and some of my other colleagues have talked about holistic review, and you're going to hear that continually throughout this evening. But I want to say that that really gives you license to brag about yourself. We want you to brag about yourself. Tell us what makes you different from someone else in our applicant pool. Providence has been test optional for about 15 years now, so definitely part of our philosophy for both admission as well as merit-based aid and also our honors college. And certainly the academic preparation, the experiences that you're going to have at Providence are going to prepare you for what comes next. I love the way that our Office of Career Services or Career Education asks the question in their survey, and the way they phrase it is this, and it's, are you working in the area in which you thought you'd be working given your declared major? And you can obviously see that a majority of our students are working in the field they thought they'd be working in. And last but certainly not least, some words of wisdom from a recent graduate, and I really can't describe it any better than that. And I really feel that this is truly our hope and our wish for every graduate of Providence College. Certainly, I hope that perhaps later this spring or certainly this summer, we'll be able to expand our in-person visit opportunities. But until then, please enjoy all of our virtual visit options. And I will definitely add my contact info into the chat box. And we're going to keep things in New England now, and we'll turn things over to my friend Jesus from the University of Vermont. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Another great presentation. Thank you so much, Providence College. Okay, University of Vermont, take it away whenever you are ready.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. How's it going, everybody? My name is Jesus Ramirez, Regional Associate Director for the Office of Admissions at the University of Vermont. I'm also based in San Diego, seems like a hot spot for regionals, and I manage the entire West Coast for the university. So if you decide to apply to UVM, I'll be your admissions counselor and guide you through the whole admission process. At UVM, we have about 10,000 undergraduate students. In terms of academics, we have a lot of different programs, anywhere from engineering to business to agriculture and life sciences, environmental and natural resources. So we have a lot of different programs. Every single program is a direct entry program. So if you know what you want to study, you can start working right away. Otherwise, there's plenty of different options. Our direct entry programs include nursing, business, and engineering. If you're interested in any of those programs, let me know, because there is a specific sort of curriculum that we prefer or that we recommend the students take in order to be a strong candidate for those programs. Some unique programs at UVM include our animal sciences program for students that want to go into vet school. We have a bachelor's, master's, and a PhD program. So we take our foods very seriously. And we're also very conscious about the environment. With environmental studies, that is a program that you can study at 3 out of the different 7 colleges at UVM. In addition to all these different academics, we have a hospital right on campus and a medical school that provides a lot of exposure for students interested in the health and natural sciences. UVM is the 5th oldest university in New England after Harvard, Yale, Dartmouth, and Brown. But if you've been to our campus or browsed our website, you'll see that a lot of our buildings are actually pretty new. A few years ago, we opened a brand new residence hall right on Central Campus. 2 years ago, we opened a brand new STEM facility, which would be a great resource, not only for our engineering program, but all our students. And we're in the process of building a brand new multi-purpose athletic facility. And as a medium research institution, our students really like the fact that UVM is sort of the perfect size, where they're able to find all the resources associated with a large public research institution, but at a smaller scale, at a Vermont scale. So the average class at UVM is about 32 students, and the overall faculty to student ratio is 1:18. And lastly, our students also like the fact that at UVM, they're able to find open and urban spaces. We're located in the city of Burlington, the largest city in the state of Vermont. Montpelier, which is the capital, is about a 30-minute drive from Burlington, and Montreal, Canada is only an hour and a half away. But the campus is surrounded by beautiful green mountains and Lake Champlain just down the street. As a Division I school, there's many exciting things happening at UVM, athletics being one of them. We have 18 varsity sports for those of you who are wanting to be future catamounts, either in the field or in the court. And we also have club sports, intramurals. We have a Greek system and over 200 clubs and organizations for students to be part of. But at the end of the day, what really excites our students are academics. Every single student has an academic advisor, which will help them find a 4-year pathway to success. And we also have 40 accelerated master's programs for students that are wanting to get their bachelor's and master's within 5 years. Over 70% of students come from outside of Vermont, which is a very unique feature for a public research institution. And since we have such a big out-of-state population, our students live in different learning communities and build a really strong sense of community. These learning communities match your interests, whether it be inside the classroom with you or outside the classroom with your living environment. And they include anywhere from arts and creativity, sustainability, or outdoor experience, among others. We're a residential campus, and so you're going to be living on campus for at least 2 years. And if you want to live on campus all 4 years, that is also an option. As you're getting ready for the admission process for your upcoming senior year at UVM, we also use the holistic approach in reviewing applications. You can submit your application through the Common App or My Coalition. You can start your application as soon as August 1st, and we have early action and regular decision. At the point of admissions, we use, you'll be automatically considered for a merit scholarship in our honors program. We're test optional for the next 2 years. So regardless whether you have test scores or not, you'll be automatically considered for merit scholarships, the honors program, and we'll use your overall application in reviewing your application. Merit scholarships are based on your GPA. So the stronger the GPA, the better scholarship you get. And to conclude my presentation, I'm often asked by students in Northern California to describe a typical UVM student, which is a little bit difficult just because we have about 10,000 students from all over the US and even internationally. But our student body does have some commonalities. The first is that they're very serious and engaged with their academics. They come to UVM because they want to conduct research and build those meaningful relationships with their professors. But they also love the outdoors, whether it's hiking or swimming in the sunny months or skiing and snowboarding in the winter months. Our students love the outdoors. And lastly, they're environmentally conscious. Whether that's something they want to study or not, our students want to use their academics to build a more sustainable world. So if any of these attributes reflect on where you're looking for a college, perhaps UVM might be a good option. Thanks and have a good night.
Fantastic. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, University of Vermont. That was great. All right, we are going to hear now from Oberlin College. As they get their presentation all set up, I want to remind everyone that the Q&A function is available and we'd love to get those questions in. Okay, Oberlin College, whenever you are ready.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you all for being here and having me here today. I'm actually just going to throw in my general brochures before I get started here. So got the Oberlin Can Take You Anywhere, Diversity and Inclusion at Oberlin, and then how to learn more. But I am going to screen share just a aerial version of our campus, just so you can kind of get an idea of what Oberlin looks like. And I got to start it back up. So here we go. And then let me get it into full screen and we'll be good. There we go. Maybe. No? Okay. There you go. Cool. So welcome. My name is Anna Richardson. I am a counselor at Oberlin College. Super excited to be here. Also an alumni of Oberlin. So double excited. I graduated from Oberlin in 2018 and I studied psychology and neuroscience. I was also a student athlete here. I did research. I did a lot of different things. And one thing to know is that I am not any different from your typical OB. So around 60% of our students are double majoring. But just to get to some general information. So what the heck is Oberlin? Where is it at? So we are located in Oberlin, Ohio, which is on the native homelands of the Erie folks here as a land recognition. But we were founded as a town as well as a college way back in 1833. And I'm really, really proud to be an alum because we were the first college to admit folks regardless of race and gender. So when you are thinking about like the feel of our campus, what's going on, we are definitely very, very into social justice, definitely very, very active. So there's a lot of that going on. So we are a private small liberal arts college, but we like to call ourselves a big small school. So what that means is that we have a little bit more than your average small school, which would be around 1,500 folks. We have around 3,000, but the size of our classes aren't being affected. So as a first year in my intro classes, I might have had 30 folks, but towards my senior year, I never had more than like 10 people in the class. I knew my professors really well as being able to do that real kind of research. So Oberlin is really, really special in the fact that we share a campus with a world-renowned conservatory, as well as having one of the largest collection on any college campus outside of Harvard and Yale. So the conservatory is actually part of our campus. So folks who want to go on to get their bachelor's of music, they can go to the conservatory, and they do share like dorms as well as dining with everyone else. So if you're a person who either wants to be, professional musician, obviously that's a great option. But as an arts and science student, you have a lot of access to the conservatory in different music, different lessons, etc. But when you're thinking about majors, we have close to 50 different majors, as well as minors mixed in between, as well as an individual major. When I'm thinking about stuff that's really, really strong, biology is one of our strongest majors, as well as folks going on to med school. So around for our students applying to med school, it's around 82% or 84% that get into med school just on their first application round. And when you're looking at graduate school, we have around a 85% or 91% getting into their first or second choice school, with around 98 getting into at least 2 or 3 at the time. So outcomes are very, very strong. And I think a lot of this has to do with experiential learning. So the way that our semester is set up is you have a fall semester, spring semester, and the month in between is winter term. This month is 100% up to you to do whatever project you would like to do. So if you need something that's chill or creative, you can do that. If you want to do an internship, you can do that, as well as having support from an office that can get you funding. If you wanted to study abroad, that's a great moment. We have around 75% of all of our students who study abroad. And I think a lot of the reason is for when you study abroad at Oberlin, what you pay in financial aid at Oberlin also will go to whatever study abroad that's accredited through our college. It's around 120 of those. So you really do have the ability to go abroad, which is why most of us do. And that can be a summer, that can be a year, that could be just a semester, that could be a winter term. But there are a lot of opportunities for many different things. We're looking at clubs, basically everything under the sun, like many other schools. We have close to 200 different clubs, all ran by Student Senate. And Student Senate is ran top to bottom by students, and they manage around $1 million in their fund. So basically what you'll notice is at Oberlin, if you want something to get done, you can definitely get that done. I'm going to stop screen sharing quickly, a nice little view here. But coming to financial aid, Oberlin is a school that does meet 100% of financial need, which is like, fancy jargon in the admissions world. Basically, it means based off your FAFSA, which is Federal Application for Aid, and CSS. We're going to meet whatever your family's estimated contribution is. All students are considered for merit. Just offer your application, and applications are very straightforward. No application fee. We are test optional. We don't have an additional essay, and we do the Common App and Coalition app. So everything is pretty straightforward. This is kind of just a brief overview of Oberlin. It's definitely hard to get a full feel for it. But if you do check out diversity and inclusion at Oberlin, it gives you some ideas of housing, from identity-based housing like Africana Heritage House, Latinx Heritage House, as well as many programs just to support diversity, equity, and inclusion at Oberlin. But if you do have more questions, feel free to reach out to me. We have a ton of virtual stuff going on. So we're always excited to reach out to you in that way. I manage a lot of students. If you want to talk to a student, I can hook you up. So thank you for listening, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm gonna put my contact info in the chat.
Oberlin, I love that. I love how you let us see your campus and, get a feel for what it might be like to be there. Thank you so much for that. All right, we are going to close out this portion of the event by hearing from the University of Richmond. All right, take it away whenever you are ready.
All righty, thanks so much. Good evening, everyone. Hi, my name is Heather Selby. I'm an admission officer and an alum from the University of Richmond in Richmond, Virginia. So this evening, I am going to play a brief video for you all that covers academics at Richmond, the typical Richmond student experience, and then finishes up talking about outcomes and what you can expect out of a degree from the University of Richmond. When the video's over, I'll briefly pop back on to tell you about our admission and aid process. And if you have any questions, please make sure you submit them while the video is playing. So with that, let's go ahead and get this started.
It starts within you. An idea, a passion, a desire to change the world, and a drive to challenge yourself. It starts within you, and it leads here to the University of Richmond. Located on a beautiful 350-acre wooded campus just minutes away from downtown Richmond, we are a private university that gives you the best of both worlds, all the economic, professional, cultural, and social resources of a capital city, coupled with the vibrant, diverse, and inclusive community of our suburban college campus. From pristine Atlantic beaches to the Blue Ridge Mountains to our nation's capital, our central location can readily connect you to world-class cultural, recreational, educational, and professional opportunities. But it's the opportunities available right here on campus that are truly impressive. The University of Richmond is home to 3 undergraduate schools: the School of Arts and Sciences, the Robbins School of Business, and the Jepson School of Leadership Studies. However, there are no direct entry programs for any of these schools. What does that mean for you? Well, there's no pressure to immediately declare your major. Once you enroll, you'll have time and access to explore more than 100 majors, minors, and concentrations. Our average class size is only 16 students, all taught by real professors, no teaching assistants. We're also committed to undergraduate research and mentorship opportunities. That means you'll get the kind of personal attention you need when narrowing down your choices. Can't decide on one major? No worries. More than 2/3 of our students pursue multiple areas of study. We admit the most talented, accomplished students. Then we do everything we can to ensure you can bring your talents here. That includes meeting 100% of demonstrated financial need for all admitted students. When you're not in class, well, that's where the vibrant community we mentioned really comes into play. Over 90% of our students choose to live right here on campus. We're also home to more than 180 student organizations, from academic, cultural, leadership, religious, and honor societies to fine and performing arts, service organizations, and Greek life. If you have an interest in it, chances are there's an organization here waiting for you to join. Searching for something a little more competitive? Look no further than our intramural athletics or the 17 teams of our NCAA Division I Richmond Spiders. The Richmond experience isn't limited to what you can do on campus, though. 67% of Spiders study abroad through more than 70 programs across 35 countries. And when it comes to internships or research projects, we won't just encourage you, we can help you fund them. The Richmond Guarantee ensures that every undergraduate is eligible to receive up to $4,000 for an unpaid or underpaid summer internship or faculty-mentored research project. And does it pay off? In short, yes. Every year, we host more than 150 career workshops and conduct more than 600 interviews with job recruiters right here on campus. And when you graduate, you'll join more than 51,000 Spiders living and leading in all 50 states and 95 countries around the world. From Wall Street to Hollywood Boulevard to near-Earth orbit, wherever you go, you'll find that Spiders are everywhere, and that's a good thing. Our interconnected web and career preparation helped 94% of our grads find employment within 6 months of graduation. So, what's your idea? Your passion? Bring us your dream and we'll help you achieve it. There's no telling just how far it will take you, but we can tell you where it starts. It starts within you, and it thrives at Richmond.
Alrighty, so I hope you enjoyed that video. The campus is absolutely fabulous. We were ranked the #1 most beautiful campus in the United States by the Princeton Review this year, and it's something that shocks me every day because there's so many beautiful schools and it's such an honor to be recognized in that way. If you are interested in applying to Richmond, you can find us on both the Common App and the Coalition application. In addition to all of your regular application materials, we do require a supplemental essay. We just ask that students write between about 500 and 600 words on really fun, unique topics that we'll post to our website this summer. So just make sure you keep an eye out there. We are going to be test optional once again this upcoming application cycle. And we really don't have a preference as to whether or not students submit test scores. We did see about 50% of our students this year choose to submit test scores, and the other 50% did not. So that's completely up to your preference. I would strongly recommend that if you're able to attend one of our virtual information sessions where we go in depth about the academic experience at Richmond, getting in touch with your admission counselor, and what you can anticipate moving into your senior year in terms of deadlines, different application plans, and ultimately what we're looking for when we're reviewing applicants. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And thank you so much, everybody.
Wonderful. What a great way to wrap up this portion. Okay, I am going to share my screen here because we are going to move into a very quick Q&A. We probably only have time for one question, but it's a good one. We're going to take advantage of having all of these experts with us here. And with everyone on video, I'm going to ask for each of our representatives to give their advice for someone going through the college search process. We're going to go in the same order, so we're going to have DePaul University answer this first for us.
Perfect. All right. Well, I think my biggest piece of advice, you probably took a little bit of this away from our exercise earlier this evening, and that's just to really make sure that you're not focusing too terribly much on one particular part of your application. Your college application is made up of so many different pieces that you want to make sure that all of you and all of the different things you're interested in is reflected in some way. So take your plane up to that 30,000 foot view and look out over the landscape of your application and make sure that the things that are important to you are represented in some way across all of the pieces, and realize too that there will be things we learn about you that you may not know. People are sharing with us in your letters of recommendation, and so that's another place where we can hear things from you or about you that might free you up to talk about something new and different that you're not addressing otherwise in an essay or short answer or something like that.
Great advice. Chapman University, what's your advice?
I'll go everything Annie said. She almost took it right out of my mouth. The only thing that I would add is just to make sure that you're not leaving anything up to assumption or for us to make guesses on. So to her point, make sure that you're filling in those gaps. We like to be like detectives sometimes to go through and really understand the context of the situation that you're in. So feel free to be your own best advocate and make sure that you're sharing that information with us, whether that's in your application or sending your admission counselor an email. Sometimes that's the easiest way to connect if you're not sure about how else to fill in those gaps.
Fantastic. I know a lot of students are anxious about those essays, so that's really good advice to give there. Providence College, what would you like to add?
So my biggest piece of advice is something that unfortunately is hard to do right now, and that is showing fit to a particular major. Not every student is going to have the opportunity to have started their own business if they're interested in economics, or to shadow a teacher in a classroom if they're interested in education. But like your history teacher and your English teachers are always telling you, I hope that you can show us and not tell us why you're connected to whatever that major might be. Obviously, again, that's very difficult to do now, but there's something in your background. It could be as simple as, hey, this is what my parents do, and this is what we talk about around the dinner table each and every night. But showing colleges and universities why you connected to major, X, I think can really help in our decision-making process.
Great tip. Thank you so much for that. University of Vermont, what would you like to add?
Yeah, I think connecting with the university is so important. And sometimes it's difficult to fly into the Midwest or the East Coast, especially nowadays. So take advantage this summer to connect with your territory manager. Here in California, we have a lot of regionals. So it's a good way to connect with the admissions representative, let them know of your interest and any sort of recommendations. Summer is the best way to connect with the admissions counselors because the rest of the year it gets pretty hectic.
Fantastic. Thanks for that tip on the timeline as well. Okay, Oberlin College, what is your advice?
Yeah, so my advice is going to come from something that I just didn't know when I was going through the process. But when you are applying and you're looking at different schools, I really do encourage you to, like everyone else said, to reach out to your admissions counselor. That is like, there are real people behind the process. We do look at your applications, we do read and figure out a lot about you. So it is a personal situation that we are going through for that. So keep that in mind. We also know you're human too. So it's not like we're going to be checking every single thing. So first is just to like, relax. As long as you get it done and it's done well, you're going to get into somewhere. So I know that that's some of the stress that comes with it. But also, if your school has interviews, do them. They're great ways to have the school learn more about you that they might not get through your application, but if they offer interviews. But also you can have that opportunity to talk to someone who's really familiar with the school and get all the different questions that you have answered as well. So generally just, you'll get through the process. Don't worry, we all do. And if you do need support, all of the admissions counselors are here. Plus there's other programs you can be involved in. So yeah, that's it.
Absolutely. Great advice. Thank you so much. Okay, University of Richmond, we're going to have you close this question out for us today.
Awesome. My advice is connect with current students at that university. We can all sit up here and tell you why our schools are great, but the current students at that school will actually be able to tell you what their experiences are like, and that's going to be the best information you can hear. So connect with students. I'm sure you can do it through Zoom or email, and I know they'd love to hear from you.
Fantastic. It's good advice when the whole panel nods in agreement with you. So that was a good one to close us out here. Okay, well, I just want to once again thank you all our panelists for sharing this tip at the end, but their presentations, and especially in this Explore session. I really hope that you learned something you didn't know, learned about an institution that you hadn't heard of before, and that after this, you'll do some Googling to learn a little bit more as well. I also want to thank everyone who is here tonight as an attendee, whether you're here right now or you're catching the recording at a later date. We're really glad that you made time for this. When you close your screen today, a few reminders. You're going to get a very quick 4-question survey. So please provide feedback on the event so that we can improve them as we go along. And then remember that this event and all of the others are being recorded. In about a week, you can find those recordings at strivescan.com/BACS. I did put that in the chat again. Last but not least, we have 2 more sessions to go. So after you wrap up here, take a look at the sessions being offered, find some institutions that look of interest, and hop in those sessions for more. All right, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.